Happy Tuesday, sixth graders. I'm talking to cohort A mostly. I just wanted to, give you the layout of today. It's actually fairly straightforward, but it's going to require some thinking. All right. So the whole point is to do a little bit of reading and then to look at what authors are really doing. So you learned about figurative language. Now let's apply it. Now let's look at what a master does with it. Okay. So a real brief note on the test yesterday. There's still a few of you that still got to take it. So I'm going to not talk about it. But remember, option A is a multiple choice. And frankly, take your time on it. Mostly everyone's doing pretty well. Clearly, there's some people who are struggling, but it's not real common. Most everyone that's taken it is done just fine. Okay. This one, option B, is if you don't want to take that test. This is writing, and this is a little different test, different way of testing, but I still see the same thing. So it's worth the same amount of points. You're writing, and you are doing you're supposed to write a story, not a bullet point list. So I want a start to finish, beginning, middle, and end story that has two examples of metaphor, similes, hyperbole, personification, alliteration, oxymoron, onomatopoeia, idioms, all that. Okay. Now, let's get to the work today. Author profile, Gary Soto. So we're going to read a story called Seventh Grade. I know you guys are in sixth grade, but it's December. And you know what? It's only, you think about it, seventh grade is only about 9 months away. Here's the deal. Author Gary Soto, a little background. He said, grew up, he was born in Fresno, California, but his parents were Mexican, so he's Mexican-American. That is his heritage. He did not grow up with a lot of books around. So I think there's something that people say is like, oh, they read all the time. He didn't read a lot. He just found out that he loved to write. So he did not grow up a reader, but he ended up turning into one. He grew up in the barrio of Fresno, California. And the barrio is a neighborhood that is essentially basically where Spanish is spoken. Most of the people who live in the barrio are from Latin America or of some sort of Latinx background. So it's a very culturally inclusive and also like specific area. You go in there, you expect to hear Spanish, you see Spanish on the store fronts, and you see the food sort of catering to that culture. So his parents were migrant workers. So Gary Soto's, his parents worked very hard, and the work was steady, but it was difficult, and it was unpredictable at times. In fact, his father was tragically killed while working for a raisin company once. And that was, it was hard for he was 5, he lost his dad. So, he made his way through, and he turned his stories into stories. So today we're going to read Seventh Grade by this guy, and it's really about his experience. The main character's name is Victor, but it's in Fresno. It's about seventh grade and a crush on a girl. That is his story, and I'm pretty sure it's probably pretty close to the real story for him. So he shares a lot of similarities with the main character. And that's what writers do. They put themselves into their work. That's why we did that thing with Seed Folks, right? I made you design a character about yourself. Okay, so as we read, I'm not going to do it here. It's in a different video. I want you to listen for any figurative language the author is using. We will do something with this in a bit. Okay, so what you're doing today is after you read, you're going to be doing some work. But first, a little background, a little humiliating background. This was my seventh grade crush. That's Brooke Hintz. In seventh grade, wow, I had a major crush on Brooke Hintz. So that's literally her picture. That was someone that I could never get out of my head. So the story that Victor's going through, I can relate to in my world very, very well. And hopefully a lot of you do, whether it's a crush, with a girl or a boy or someone who doesn't identify as either. We will feel things for people, and that's natural. Okay, so here's the assignment. After you're done reading, you're going to be doing some digging in. So I want you to find 4 examples of figurative language in 7th grade. 4. There's a whole story. There's at least, I would say, 15 that I could name right now, but I want you to try to find 4. So your number 1 thing is quote the example. So I want you to quote the example from the story. So you have to write it down. You're going to cite the example. So that means you're going to tell me where you found it. Okay. And then 3rd, you're going to identify it. What is it? And 4, explain the figurative language and what it what it's trying to do. Okay? That's the thing. What is it trying to do for the reader? So let me give you an example so you know. Okay? These numbers are paragraph numbers. So that's how you're going to identify. That's going to go in the citation. Okay? So this whole passage right here, I found this. The small triangle-shaped campus bustled with students talking about their classes. As I read that, I'm like, wait a second, I hear that S sound a lot. Oh, so here's what I'm going to do. For my first of 4, I'm going to quote it. Notice I have to put in quotations because I'm quoting someone else. So I put that there first. The small triangle-shaped campus bustled with students talking about their new classes. I do not put a period or a comma there. I just put the quotation. And then Soto 31, I use what's called in a parentheses. This is the author's only the last name. Then 31 is the right there. Oh, sorry, I have 32. It should be 32. There you go. That's the paragraph I got it from, 32. And then period goes at the end. So that is citing. I just now told your teacher that this was a quote I pulled from the passage, and this is where I got it. Soto is the author, and from paragraph 32. Okay, period. That's step number 1. Step number 2. This is an example of alliteration in the writing because the S sound in small shaped campus, bustled students and classes is repeated. There's my identification. I told you it's alliteration. I showed you how. Okay. That's number 2. Number 3 is the, actually, sorry, this is step 1. This is step 2, citing it. Step 3 is identifying it. And step 4 is explaining it. Okay. I think Soto is trying to start a paragraph for his reader that is a catchy sound and creates a nice, fun picture of what school looks like here. All right, that's the best I can come up with. Is it brilliant? No, but it's my thinking of like, why is he using alliteration right there? That's the why. It's really important. So, guys, 4 examples, 4 steps to each example. Okay, right there. And you will turn your assignment in. This is your assignment for today. Here, this is your assignment. Okay, so the video, so you're watching step 1 right now. Step 2 is the second video of me reading the text to you. This is the PDF of the text. Do not do any other work. There's like a couple of pages after. Just worry about the text. Do not worry about this stuff. At the end, don't do any of this. No, do not do that. Okay, so there you go. Those are that's the work. Here's your example and submit. You should be writing in your notebooks today by handwriting and then taking a picture. Any questions? Let me know. All right.